Hey there, second grade. Today we are going to be starting chapter 7, lesson 2. And so we're going to be on page 419. So if you want to go ahead and get to page 419 with me right now, that's where we're going to be starting. Now, I'm going to use some of the space down here. All I want for you to do is just pay attention as I start to go through how to solve subtracting by hundreds, because that's what we're going to be focusing on today is subtracting hundreds. Now, let's just say for a moment that there were 400 steps in school, and we decided to walk up all the steps. If we've walked up 300 steps already, how many steps do we have left? Well, let's just go ahead real fast, and I'm just going to draw a quick picture. So if you remember from before, we have some different manipulatives that we use. We've got small cubes. We have straights, which are 10 cubes, and then we have what I like to call flats, which are large flat pieces that have 100 cubes in them. So we're going to be using our 4 flats for today. All right, so we have 400, so this is 100, 200, 300, 400. And if we've already walked up 300 steps, let's cross those off real quick. So we've walked up 100, 200, 300 steps. How many steps do we have left? Well, we already said there's 100 in every flat. So we have 100 left. If we were writing this out just using numbers, I would write my 400, and then I would subtract 100. And always, 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 we've got to make sure we line up our place values. So I'd start in my ones place. Well, 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. And then I can subtract my hundreds place. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So if you have not gotten to page 419 just yet, we're actually going to turn over to the next side because we're going to get started on our guided practice today. So this is going to be on page 420. So if you have not gotten to 420, please get there right now. Pause the video and find page 420. Now, I want to just check out this helpful hint real quick because this is what we covered before in earlier chapters. So if we know that 5 minus 3 equals 2, I can use that in my hundreds place because both my ones and my tens place are zeros in this problem. 500 minus 300. Well, zeros are in both place values, so the 2 can come down, and I can just keep those 2 zeros to get 200. All right, so that's kind of like a shortcut of a way that we could do that. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this first problem. I'm going to zoom in, and again, if you're not on page 420, pause right now so you can get there and follow along with us. It says you can use basic subtraction facts to help subtract hundreds. So here we have 500 minus 300. So this is the flats that I was talking about earlier. There's 100 little cubes. There are 10 tens in these. All right, so each of these is worth 100. So we have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. But I could also just count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If I count it like that, then what I can really say is I have 5 hundreds, and I'm taking away 300s. So when I cross off my 300s, I'm left with 1, 2. So go ahead and use your pencil right now. Whenever I'm writing on the page, I want you to write as well. So I've got 2 hundreds. I have 2 hundreds plates there, right? So 500 minus 300 is going to be 200. All right, so we can use these simplified facts and then be able to move it over when all of our answers are going to have those zeros. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at number 1. So if we use the same way that we just did this, all right, I can just start off and say, well, 8 minus 1. What is 8 minus 1? 8 minus 1 is 7. And then I've got zeros in all my other place values, so I need 2 zeros. So my answer is 700. See how we did that? Let's start first here with the 0. So I've got zeros and zeros, so I can put my zeros here. 2 minus 2. Well, if I have 2 and I take 2 away, I end up with 0. So I've got 3 zeros there. 200 minus 200 is 0. All right, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and work on numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own right now. Go ahead, pause your video and do those 4 problems, and then come back and press play when you've done them. All right, I hope that you paused the video so that way you could do these problems. If not, do it right now because we're going to go over these. Now, as I go over these problems, I want you to be following along with me. What that means is you look at the way that I solve these problems, and if you did not solve it that way, see what was the different parts, okay? And if your answer at the end is different, that's okay as long as you are figuring out why. Because I'm going to be showing you the right answer. So don't just wait for the end and write down the answer I say. Follow along with me. So for number 3, I've got zeros and zeros, so I need to put my 2 zeros here. Then I can do 7 minus 1. Well, 7 minus 1 is 6. So my first answer is 600. For number 4, I've got zeros in my ones, zeros in my tens, and now I have 4 minus 2. Well, 4 minus 2 is 2. So my answer here is 200. For number 5, in my ones place, I have zeros. In my tens place, I have zeros. So then I need, well, 5 minus 1. Well, 5 minus 1 is 4. So my answer was 400. For number 6, I've got zeros in my ones, zeros in my tens, and then 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. So my answer here is 400. Well, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and turn to the next page with me because on the next page, we are on page 421. And there's numbers 7 all the way through 26 on this page, all right? That's what we're going to be focusing on during this time is 7 through 26. If you get confused or you're unsure, turn back a page and look at how we solved the problems over here. Remind yourself of what steps you took in order to be able to solve these problems, so that way on this page, you can solve all these problems. So right now, go ahead and do problem 7 all the way until 26, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.